I hear you well,
Okay.
right? Your microphone's on?
The microphone's on, yeah.
All right, bring your volume up.
Now bring my volume up on my.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. That's good. I hear you very lightly.
Right? So you hear me.
But there's a delay.
So now we're like Fox News. Okay? where there's a delay. And so we have to learn to wait for each other. Anyhow, who cares? I don't even know if anybody's gonna log in for this one, episode number 288 of the Jeet Kune Dialogues.
288.
Yeah. I think you were number.
I was early.
You were early. You were in 2 digits.
Yeah. We did it in. I opened up the school in March 6th. This March was like 7 years ago. Yeah. We lost a year and a half because of COVID.
7 years ago is when you were in Miami Beach?
No. It was Miami Beach 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 years ago we opened up.
Wow.
So when I make it next time too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is a huge experiment that we're doing, gentlemen. So Scorch, you and Bucky, let me know if you hear us okay on YouTube. And then Mick, you and Simon, let me know if you hear us okay on Facebook. We'll see what they say. Okay, Bucky says there's feedback on my end, but all clear on. Scorch says he hears me fine. Okay, I think everything's good.
Okay. So wing it.
Yeah, we'll wing it. I mean, like I was telling you guys off camera, I tried to set everything up inside my room. It didn't work. So we're out here on the porch in sunny Marina del Rey. This is January LA trip number 1, right? So with me today, folks, is my good friend Ron Goldstein and my other good friend Anthony Fontana, who I have not seen in a couple of years, huh?
It's been a while.
Right? And so let's do backgrounds. You two actually know each other from New York,
Yes.
from Anderson's,
Yes.
right?
He's
everybody's senior.
He's everybody's senior.
but also like I think you were what, like 60%.
Well, I was in the whole class with John Boy.
Black belt, so it's very difficult to get a black belt.
Yeah.
So that's why when I came in, it was like what, 2008.
Yeah.
2009.
When we met, yeah.
Around that time.
He's as old as those hills over there. Right? Okay, so we are here
To just go
hang out at the Innisano Academy, go hang out at Cas Magda's place, and then we're also going to go see my friend G. Anthony Joseph. Now, you were telling me some interesting stuff when we were waiting for our bags. Tell the crowd what it is you were talking about, what you've been working on.
Oh, okay. So through this year in particular, because like I've been teaching, I'm going on my 10th year of teaching CNS response, so central nervous system response. How like when we're training, how can we truly apply it when we spar, right? So instead of like clouding our minds with multiple techniques or things that are like more than 4 count, strikes, I keep it minimal. Like say for example, a drag, cross, a slip, and a cross. And the CNS response, I'm doing time intervals where I'm doing 20 seconds on and 20 seconds off. The case studies that I have is when I teach that and say I go like maybe 8 rounds like that, when it comes time to sparring, what they're doing is coming off on autopilot. They're just automatically reacting until either two coming or slipping and they're fighting. And this is happening more and more. And it's because of this type of training that I'm encountering. Now, it took me a couple of years. I got this from like actually just doing my own research on how to move in with lifting. When we're doing like snatches and stuff like that, keep it simple, mimic the motion first before you have to weight in your hand, and then you get a better lift, better recovery time, and actually getting your when you're performing the exercise.
Yeah.
So this is very fascinating. So as opposed to clouding your mind with a million hit combinations, 17 counts, and like getting confused in it, can you really pull it off when you have this bar?
Mhm.
So keep it simple. And try this out. It's pretty cool. It's very interesting.
Well, if you throw that simple word around Ron, it's immediately you're talking Jeet Kune. Jeet Kune
Simplicity.
owns the word simple and simplicity, right?
Simply to simplify.
Yeah. So what brings you out here?
Well,
I've been coming out here quite a bit recently.
this is just another trip.
Another trip.
You and I have been coming out here now since
probably once a month.
So, I guess for myself, when I moved out of New York, down to Florida,
I had trouble
finding
finding
a place to train.
place to train.
Anthony had a school for a while. I trained
I
at
trained down there,
and
and
that school kind of broke up a little
bit.
Before I found
And before I found
you, I just said,
I
what?
just said,
Fly out to North
my
Dakota,
class
sure.
was
So I just started flying out to the made a little tired.
So you're here essentially then just to hear Inosano talk.
Yeah, basically.
Why not?
I always used to think back in the day when I would bring him to Miami for seminars, I thought that would be a great seminar. You pay your $200, you just sit down and let him talk.
You just sit down and let it talk.
I mean, it's legible. It's like, right? You just hear the wealth of knowledge that he has.
Yeah. Now you've never met Cat Smackdown, but you've heard of it.
You spoke highly of him.
Yeah.
Like, speaking, like you were telling me about his books that's out there, his training methods. You were giving me tips on focusing, holding, and like you mentioned, Kaz. That was the first time I heard of it.
Okay. So, all right. So then that'll be a treat for you. Ron met him was last year.
We just went up there and said, hey. And then we went to his FMA seminar.
Yeah, I think he liked the vibe at Cass's school, which is, in Cass's own words, what he tried to recreate is the old Kali Academy, right down in Torrance. And I was thinking about that. If we had time, we could try to do the historical tour with him, but we don't have time this time around. Last month when we were here, Ron and I went down to Torrance, to the old Normandy Avenue address, and then we went to LA Chinatown, to the old College Street address, and took our, if you're a true Jeet Kune fan, you got to do that at some point in your life, right?
It's certainly a notch on my belt.
Yeah. And then we were supposed to go meet up with my friend Anthony, but that didn't work out because somebody got food poisoning. And to this day, nobody has said to me, Dwight, you were chronicling that LA trip. There's day 1, day 2, day 3, and then there's day 5. I missed day 4.
And then there's day 5.
Because I spent day 4 in bed. Right. Yeah.
So
No
No
leftovers.
leftovers.
just don't leave
Don't leave the leftovers in the car
that
to
I
warm
do.
up. Put them in a microwave or something, right?
So
Okay, let's talk about
expectation.
expectations.
You're
coaching a lot of fighters now.
Fighters, executives, high profile celebrities. Basically, I went private sector. The fighters that I have are professional, amateur, bare knuckle boxers.
Right.
I stay in the boxing realm. That's what I've been meditated the last 3.5 years about.
Yeah.
I had like a Thai fighter, but Miami's just it's boxing world out there. So and that's just what gravitated towards me.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's labor of love because fighters they have to coddle and baby them.
I know.
They expect a lot.
Yeah.
But again, it's actually when they look at that ring, that's their job. And the whole thing I was talking about accountability, right?
Mhm.
It's on them. Like boxing is a beautiful sport, but it's a lonely sport. I'm there as a guy, but they've got to put the work. They got to cover all the ranges that they have to be, the footwork, the discipline, the eating, dieting. I can't hold their hand the whole time, So, but it's very interesting. Like we were talking about this on the plane. There's times when you're in your training and stuff like that, or like you're about to fight and you have no legs. Why does that happen? And it's like, so you got to deal with all these things. I make them understand that these things can happen. It's okay. You just have to learn how to adapt, understand what goes on, and then make it through.
Mhm.
So then we also like to go like with our stress inoculation training, the training when the heart rate's really increased, like how they're going to respond, the defensive tactics and all that kind of stuff, and actually beating their mind.
What's the what you say is the technical base for what you're doing with them?
What do you mean by technical?
Like where are you pulling the techniques, so to speak, from?
Oh,
Because you've got a varied background.
Oh yeah. So I started boxing when I was 14, so I was talking. Everybody has different boxing styles, and down in Miami, there's a lot of Russian and Cuban coaches that are down there. I've gotten my influence from my coach in Geneva. His name's Lionel. He has the culinary boxing. He's more of like a French style boxer. And boxing is boxing, but what you really have to do is understand in all combat sport, in all martial arts, what biomechanics behind it. Even when, for example, when we have like the wing block or the bung sound, right? Proper position of the hand. So we understand the biomechanics. Like when you do a bung sound, it should be up here, should be curved out here. You should have this perfect like little S, where it should be aligned with your chest, so you have more. So your body's just more structured that way, as opposed to being loose. So you understand what I mean by that. So you're not in like a neutral position where you can fall back. You still have balance. So I pull the techniques from what I've learned, from what I've seen, and what I continue to study. And then so I learned from like this great boxing coaches that are down there. We just sit and absorb and we talk. But then at the end of the day, a punch is a punch, a kick is a kick. Right? So just by looking at it, you see what works. But every individual has different parameters. Right? Some people have an issue with their shoulder; they can't do a full corkscrew type of punch, or their hands wide because they have big lats. So you have to like work around that. That's why I always do movement assessments first. Understand who am I working with. How can I adjust?
Yeah.
Or even like the height. If they have the reach, they stay long guard. If they're short like me, we're in peekaboo styles because we have to do that. Now we can come a little longer. We have to make sure our hands are coming back with us.
Right.
So it really varies.
That sounds like the whole Bruce Lee working with different students according to, So it's like remember I did an episode of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast one time talking about how Jeet Kune Do is invisible, because for some people, if you don't use the word Jeet Kune Do, they feel like you're not talking about it, as opposed to no, you've so totally absorbed it that you do what you do. And so you've gone to the level, or you've gone to the point where you're being Jeet Kune Do. It's not the silly argument about if you're doing it right, if you're doing it the Inasano method or the whoever other method or whatever, right? The Inasano method. Oh. I've joined the ranks of the walk-in building. Right? What about expectations for today's training?
Well, I assume it's going to be standard 537 weapons class. Eureka Brown.
I hope we get to drum.
No, that's
I hope we get to drum.
I like this.
That'll be fun. Yeah. In fact, is Michael Dubin there on Fridays? I can't remember. Is he usually?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see.
Or you need a professional drummer.
I need as much help in drumming as I can get, man. I don't have a clue what I'm doing when I sit down behind percussion instruments. And we're coming back for Francis Fong and Dan Anasano, right? You're not. Are you in that trip
No,
too?
I was here last year.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you train the Wing Chun in New York also with him?
Okay, so the same class.
Well, when-
you know, so-
Well, when
we
I-
didn't
we didn't train in school.
The methods that I learned were from Anderson.
Okay.
Obviously, because of my
Yeah, I
teacher.
sent you the
Link to
Oh, you did?
Clock, right on your.
But I had
Okay.
a good moment last year when Nancy from Fog actually asked me to come up and demonstrate with them.
All right,
It was so
right.
cool. I was
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he asked me to come up and teach Sunam Tao, and I was like, I don't think so. I'll mess that up.
He's got an interesting
Right.
size, very fast.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll take a look at it. Yeah, Francis Fong's Wing Chun, I think, is unique out there in the Jeet Kune world. And I think it's because of the time that he has spent with the people he has spent time with, the Dan Anasanos and the Chai Sirasuts and the Yuri Nakamuras and the Eric Paulsons and what have you. I think his Wing Chun isn't like what you see other people out there doing, you know, as Wing Chun. But that brings me to this question in terms of you. Fortunately for you, Anthony, you're not on Facebook, so you never have to put up with, you never have to see the discussions that I have to be part of.
I can only imagine why, but I do remember that.
Right. Okay.
I
Right.
got off it because I was getting, again, too many people. I didn't want to bother with
Yeah.
them. I was like, you know what?
Yeah. But what are your thoughts then on this idea that you stick to one way of doing things, because that one way, especially if it's the way of a international superstar, right? A martial art international superstar. If it's his way, that's it. That's all you need.
No, because, well, here's the thing. It's that the first thing is yourself, right? As the artist, because you're trying to be that, which you're trying to like mimic yourself in that image. What about your image? Right now we have a guide and a reference for sure, but again, he moved the way he moved because that was his body and frame and structure. You moved the way you moved because of your height. Me, I move the way I move, but I move in my elements, my shoulders, shoes, whatever it is.
Right.
But when it comes to like, when you say Jeet Kune, the way we understand the fist, art, philosophy, no matter what, it's all about interception, right? However we get it down. Did it work? Sure. It's good. Did you actually do it that way? But it worked for you, right? Again, it's based on your understanding of the knowledge that you're learning, right, and how well you own it. Now, you don't have to say the full curriculum, and I have to get to senior instructor and blah blah blah. If you're still a beginner, then own being a beginner, right? Like look at Bruce Lee from what I heard too, Pak Sao Lap Sao, right? How many reps did he do with that? And own that. How many years did he really study Wing Chun and under who? Right? He only studied one set. It worked for him, but then he looked at Wing Chun. How can I apply this in boxing? Right, and you see a lot of high level Wing Chun in boxing. If you look closely, you see the Pak Saos, you see the Jut Saos, the Hu Saos, scooping hands.
Do you think that was there before, but we're only recognizing it now, or do you think that whatever the influence is, that stuff snuck into boxing now?
I mean, here we go. Fighting is fighting, and it might have always been there, right? Because martial art, right? Martial suited for war, the way it is, it's like boxing's been around for how long, right? Pulling is always there. The clinch is always there. How we move as human beings trying to survive. We're pulling, we're scratching, we're slapping, we're punching. Have proper techniques and call it what it is inside Pak Sao, or White Pak Sao, whatever. I mean, I think it's with now educated eyes. When you look back at it, oh wow, let's review 1950s boxing. Let's watch tapes and see what they're doing. I remember you mentioned to me about Flash and Gordy and the footwork, how that influenced Muhammad Ali and his outside. I knew nothing about that until you mentioned that to me.
Mhm.
Then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh wow, that is the footwork on the screen door. But you had to put me on.
Yeah.
That, you know? So I think there's again, see, if you have that, there's just this one way. It limits yourself.
Right.
You're not supposed to have any limit.
Yeah. I mean,
Right? Because there is not. This is the way.
mhm.
Maybe for structure, foundation, right? Because the strongest point to anything is a good foundation. If you don't have that and you rush it,
Right.
nah. And
Yeah.
that's why it takes so long for jujitsu to become a black belt in jujitsu, because it's hard. That becomes the gentle art, because you let the ego go, listen to your instructor, you try to pull off, learn,
Yeah.
understand about body manipulation, etc.
It all boils down to that C word that we were talking about earlier, huh?
Cultivation.
Cultivation.
Yeah, cultivation
Right.
of the artist, right? So you
Yeah.
come in with that primal instinct, like you know sort of how to it's in us, primal animals. Then when you begin to learn, you limit yourself because you're questioning too much. Right? Like, or you say, oh, I can do this, I can do that, here, so that's fine, but do what you have to do now, own it, and then move on. Then you get to that level of like you can flow,
Mhm.
right? Then you get to that level where you're free.
Yeah.
You go back to your structure though. You learn that hard structure so that in the chaos you go back to. Right? So,
You and Gianzin, you're gonna have a good time. I could tell.
You know, I really like. I love Jeet Kune. It's helped me, and it's actually saved my life. Tactics have saved my life in the streets
Yeah.
too. So, but understanding that it's art and philosophy that we should have. The only thing that really,
Mhm.
you know, and I wish we did as instructors, because remember too, when we do it, we're in the business of saving lives.
Yeah.
Right on many levels, right, and for some reason we get it all twisted where, hey, you're my brother, man.
Mhm.
We're helping people. I can't tell you how many emails and text messages I get see from you in my life. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
That's you told me somebody came out with a screwdriver or whatever it
Yeah.
is. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Right. But it's like, sometimes you get the people online who are like, oh, Jeet Kune is in danger of disappearing, and there's, like you just said, there's no unity, so the art is gonna whatever. And these are guys who are instructors. So I ask them, well, if you're an instructor, if you're teaching Jeet Kune, aren't you passing it on? Aren't you making sure that when you're gone, there are people who will carry it on? So I don't understand what when they teach. Are they teaching out of desperation, or are they teaching out of inspiration, or what?
And that's individualized. I mean, what are they doing? It's like, what are they giving out? It's like, I know me as a teacher, when someone wants to learn these arts, like the first thing I give them, like, I mean, yes, I have my curriculum, but I give them the tools that are going to save their lives out there first. Keep it simple. Like, for example, like we're in the college section, angle 1 and angle 2, right? That extract. All the angles, whatever, however they may be, 8, 1, 12, and that one. And I'm serious. No. And one thing to read you like.
I don't know all 80.
No, but you know all circles and whatever it is. But like, you know what
I
I'm
know
saying?
156.
Right? I mean, knowing it is one thing, like the true application, the 1 and the 2 accuracy, that and the thrust.
Yeah.
You can do that with your umbrella, with a roll-up magazine, and they own it. Their hand is up, their guard is up. Even that's an issue too. Like when you talk about guard, right? We hear this in every single boxing match. Gentlemen, protect yourself at all times, right? Just get your hands back to your face and keep it in a good guard. Even when you're in the shell, all this kind of stuff. People need to perfect that first, or like all the basics of everything. So that's what I do as a teacher, and then I go into teaching them, well into the art.
How come you never taught?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
He's
a good teacher too. He taught me.
I try and teach my son. I used to try and teach my son-in-law and my daughter. I try and help out when I'm in the class. I just want to train. I'm not into.
Yeah.
I just want to train.
That's why you're
Gives you
old.
something to do.
That's why
Gives
you're
you-
old. That's why you're old like those hills, but skinny.
Somebody
He's the
has to-
skinniest one out of all of
And
us.
he's moving more, right?
If
You
everybody
know.
was his teacher, then who the hell would be students? Come on, you guys are your students.
I'm here. Well, I mean, but what's funny though? But like, from teaching though, I got better
Mhm.
because you see it with
Yeah.
your eyes, right? And how many times you have to explain it over and over again. But everybody has a different learning curve, or have a different like aha moment, or just the way you express something. Or you
Yeah.
or something.
All right, I'm gonna drop this. Oh shoot, you guys just fell out of the.
Oh, we're out. Oh, it keeps you alive.
Yeah, but you You just fell out of my video feed for some reason.
Frank, I agree with you if you can hear him.
Why is that? Hang on.
We back up?
No, not yet. You might have to click. You might have to click that link again. I'm going to drop you out,
Okay.
and then click the link again and come back in.
Okay,
All right. So while Anthony works on that, I'm going to show you guys. We were already here in LA fooling around. So take a look at.
Same link, right?
Take a look. Yeah.
All these people here for us?
Right? Yeah.
A Los Angeles tradition, huh? Look at this guy, attacking in and out. And out.
No, nothing yet.
All right. Nothing.
Set destination.
Okay. Everybody can still hear me, but it's not that big a deal. I mean, we were just this is just an experiment, so we'll know if we can do this next time that we're here. So if you can't get back in,
What,
It's-
backstage chat? Is that what it?
what time is it here?
3:12.
3:00. What time do we start? 5?
5:30. After the 7.
What do I hit here? Channel.
Shoot, I've never been on this side of it.
I think that was.
You got here from the link?
Let me see. I got here going from the just the app. Oh wait, joint shooters guys. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Back on. We're live. It's just waiting. Here we go. I hear
Yep.
myself again. Good. Got us.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Let me just
Everybody?
make sure that you're not frozen.
Okay.
It's the internet here is not that strong.
We have wireless.
You know, and I thought that we would be able to do it. Remember they used to have couches out front?
Yes.
They moved all that stuff.
Well, we're moving out to Christmas tree.
Christmas tree.
Right. All right. So, well, like I said, this was just an experiment to see if we could produce something while we're out on the road. Maybe what we'll do is go live on Sunday when we go over to G. Anthony's, right? I'm taking the camera, so we'll record everything, but maybe we'll be able to go live there, and we'll do another on the road report for you guys. So we're gonna cut this off now. I take a nap anyhow. You know, old people like me who only had 4 hours of sleep last night. I gotta go get over to the Innisano Academy. I gotta look good when I get there. So Bucky, Frank, Red Tiger, Terry, Mark, David Parker, Scorch, Simon, Mick, everybody who Norman Taylor, everybody who spent that half an hour with us. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll do more reporting over the next few days. All right, guys, take care. This is Dwight Woods, Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. Talk later. Okay.